to the dojo, everyone. This is the Raikaze here, and we are back for another exciting episode of the R.G.T series, in which we are going through each of the restricted legendary Pokemon in the Regulation G format. Now, Regulation G is more than likely almost over, and so far all of our predictions on how well these Pokemon can potentially do has been coming to fruition. So make sure you are going back and checking out our original prediction videos, as well as saying, hey, how can these Pokemon do super well? And then you'll even see, as the tournaments have been going through, you'll say, oh my gosh, they were right, because we were on point of how these restricted legendaries have been shining in this format. Now, today we are going to be covering the Lunala, and Lunala did win a regional recently, and it was the Meteor Herb set. And we're going to be just talking about a couple different sets of how we're going to be able to run a Lunala and how you can be successful in using that Pokemon. I have my favorites, and I believe Ric Flair McNair has his own favorites, so we'll go into that here in a little bit. But first, let's go ahead and just talk about how the Lunalas can in fact be utilized. So of course we have the Shadow Shield ability, which is basically like a multi-scale or however it may be, but and I believe that ability cannot be turned off. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that ability is never turned off despite any of the like mold breakers or whatnot, but I could be wrong about that. So check into that, double check it. Don't quote me on that. Now, another great thing about Lunala is the fact of its typing. The fact that it is a Ghost Psychic type makes it something that cannot be faked out. So with that being said, along with this ability, it will be able to withstand an attack, do either a setup move or something of the sort, or help out the team in some form or fashion, and not take massive damage depending on how your team is going to be structured. So that's going to be the most important factor, and how you are going to need to capitalize on that at the same time. So one of the typical sets that you are going to see is going to be the Power Herb Lunala. With the Power Herb, you hit the Meteor Beam, you'll get a +1 right away. You don't even need to wait another turn, because with the Power Herb you'll consume it and then you do massive damage. This is excellent for taking out like Incineroars, but they're starting to try to put in enough investment nowadays to try to withstand that, so be careful about that. You also will give yourself that +1, so Lunala with a very respectable 137 special attack in the base, and if you just simply go with like a modest nature already, that is just massive, non-invested 172, just non-invested. You can literally go like maximum bulk if you wanted to, and just make this Pokemon super powerful just off the bat. Or you can just go even more crazy and just go maximum there. Well, you don't want to go 207. You want to be an even number if you're going to go with the Power Herb. And then with that, just simply, I had that at the 84, but like, let's say if you went maximum speed right there, that is a adamant Urshifu right there. So with this, you will match your speed. You're going to have to make sure you find a way to make sure that you can outspeed it, especially those choice guard variants, but that even so, that will still be like you tying your speed, so you got to be careful about that. But nonetheless, if you can get like a +1 on that, and then you'll be able to outspeed Calyrex Shadow. So with that, I mean, you're able to do so much immediately. And speaking of Calyrex Shadow, this is a Pokemon that shares the same typing, but with your ability, you're going to be able to withstand at least one attack. So if you can capitalize on that speed and just do the massive damage right off the bat, especially if you're just simply just going Moongeist Beam or something of the sort, you can just go ahead, as well as Moonblast. But if you go, typically you're going to have both Moonblast and the Moongeist Beam, but with that you can take out a Calyrex Shadow. But of course the Calyrex Shadow is more than likely going to have to Terrasilize, so if you can already capitalize on the speed and then have something in the back to capitalize on that Terrasalization, then you're good to go. But of course, can't really guarantee yourself for every single Terrasalization. So that's how you want to make sure that you still have something that you're going to have your own Lunala to specialize on itself, not really focusing on, oh, if I go against only Cali Shadow. Don't focus on that. Focus on how you're going to capitalize on your Lunala. That's going to be the biggest key. Another set that you will see is going to be the Leftover set, and that is going to be the Calm Mind variant. So with the Calm Mind and having Leftover, with this Shadow Shield ability, you're going to be able to withstand an attack, get a Calm Mind up, and then you recover some damage because you've more than likely got some chip. Then you could probably typically go for a Protect as your last slot. so then try to get a little bit more recovery. And then you may have some teammates that are going to do some more redirection, allow your health to also continue to improve. Or you may have something like one of those healer types. So let's say, for example, you got the Amoonguss that has the pollen puff to try to bring you back up to full health. You also have the Wo Chen that also can do pollen puff. You also have the, what is that Pokemon called? Comfey. Comfey has that floral healing, and with the +3 with the triage ability, you are recovering so much health right away. So there's so many ways to keep your Lunala very, very bulky. The only thing that you will have to be very careful in terms of that is knowing how to utilize your terrestrialization, which is typically going to be that of Fairy, because the most important challenge with that is going to be like Incineroar. Incineroar runs knockoff. With the knockoff, it's going to remove your leftovers. So your Shadow Shield ability is just kind of like gonna say, hey, I'll terrestrialize into the Fairy, I'll get the Calm Mind, I'm not gonna have any more recovery at this particular point, I need support. And whoever the opponents are, that's when Lunala can get overwhelmed. Like, let's say if you're going against Cali Ice, going for those Glacial Lances, gotta be careful about that. So there are a few counters, so you will have to make sure that you will have a few answers to them prior to trying to go for this, because especially in this type of set, you are not going to be running the Meteor Beam. So without the Meteor Beam, you're not going to be able to immediately take out an Incineroar, and therefore you are subject to massive damage. So you got to watch out for that. And one other set that we can actually look into is going to be that of the Wide Guard variant. So Wide Guard is going to be just more of the supportive role. As we've already seen, Lunala has a great deal of special attack, so it can still do some considerable damage, but having that Wide Guard access, you can then just simply try to help protect the team, especially if you're going against those Calyrexes, if your team is really struggling against those particular Pokemon. So let's say, for example, if your team is going to be structured that can take out Miraidon, it can also take out, I don't know, Groudon and Koraidon and all the rest of that somehow, and your Lunala is on the team just as more additional support, but then you are like Meteor Beam or something of the sort. But next thing you know, you're like, oh, my team is actually struggling against that of the Calyrex Ice or Calyrex Shadow. Then one thing you can do is, instead of going back to the leftover set, if you didn't want to do that anymore, or you can keep the leftovers, for example, and not even run the Protect, and you want to just combine the two together and go Wide Guard. So that's just another option that you can do there. But Lunala as the Wide Guard variant, and you can still run it with the Protect as well if you're not worried about doing any Calm Mind. Still continue to chip on your opponents by doing those attacks like Moonblast, Moonblast Beam, things of the sort. That is how you are going to be able to capitalize on the Lunala. You just want to watch out for those counters. If you haven't already done so, make sure you check another video that is on my page featuring the different regular non-restricted Pokemon that can be considered the counters to these restricted Pokemon. And some of the counters, for example, for Lunala will be that of Chi-Yu, because of that Dark Pulse and the Snarl dropping your special attack. So that's already very damaging there. You also have the big challenge of the Zoroark, which is typically the Hisuian variant. You have Incineroar, that is also another Pokemon which we already discussed. There's also the Galarian Moltres, and even the Iron Jugulus. All of these Pokemon can create some massive struggles for your Lunala, where they also force you into your terrestrialization. So you want to have those type of Pokemon basically in your mind of like, how can I counter those mons if I want my Lunala to survive on my team? If you have an answer for that, you should be pretty good. So what we're going to do at this moment in time is we're going to see what kind of set Ric Flair McNair is going to be running, and we're going to be hopping back on over to me, and we'll see the set that I'm going to be running. So let's go check out some battles. Before we go any further, I want to say thank you so very much for joining us here at Card Shark Dojo. Be sure that you are leaving a like, sharing, and subscribing, as it's going to greatly help us out as we are trying to grow this channel. And also make sure you have those notifications turned on so you don't miss when the next video goes live. Also, sometimes I know you all just want to sit back and not take things so seriously. So with that in mind, head on over to the Raikaze Twitch and YouTube page. There, we do various forms of content, including my very special Pokemon Roulette VGC series, other video games, skits, reactions, as well as reviews. So if you want to see some fun videos, learn about some new anime, play some other types of games, or anything of that sort, be sure to head on to those pages and subscribe for the fun. Links to those various channels are in the description box below. I hope to see y'all there. But for now, back to the video.
All right. This time I was told that we are doing Lunala. So I went on, and you can see the team that I got here. I didn't create this team. This team got top 128 in the EUIC. I can't pronounce that dude's name. Sorry. But credit to this guy. And oh my goodness, if you didn't watch the last big event where Lunala won it, buddy, I wish I had made that call sooner, because in these games that I played, Lunala feels good. Feels really good. These 3 losses are probably more my fault than the team's. So like, I'm not going to show you this replay against Necrozma Dust Main. How often you see those? But let's knock out some of the more popular ones, right? But for real, this team just feels good. I don't know how else to explain it to you. This is probably one of my favorite leads, is Lunala in DDD. Unless they have a terrain setter, it lets me do whatever I want. Which is usually trying to get that follow me up for Meteor Beam or Trick Room. Now, Terra Grass in front of Chi Yu, probably not the smartest thing. I couldn't tell you why I did it. I felt like I was taking the 50-50 versus the Dark Pulse or the Heat Wave, and I was hoping he would have went for Dark Pulse because it was super effective on both of mine, but he didn't. He made that call, which is a great read by him. But Meteor Beam plus Moongeist Beam with a Power Herb, you kind of just do what you want. Alright, so Trick Room's almost over, but we Helping Hand, we Earthquake, and I mean, you see we have a very good pin position. Sure, we're going to lose Trick Room here, but I'm really not scared of much, to be honest with you. I have a Moongus. Zamazenta doesn't have any redirect or any spread move, so one Spore later and this game is mine. Voila. Alright, next we'll watch this one. It's a Kali Shadow. Yeah, that's pretty popular nowadays. I would like to be on my viewpoint, thank you. And I recorded these a couple days ago. I meant to send this sooner, but we had some terrible weather come through, so if I have to rewatch it with y'all, my apologies. But again, the power of Lunala in DDD lead is just so good. Now this Raging Bolt Snarl was an issue, and I was trying to figure out a good way to play around it. So obviously step 1, we need to get our special attack back up, right? So we could Meteor Beam here and go back to -1 instead of -2, which is what I went for. I figured -1 is better than nothing. And if I can eliminate the Chin Pow, then I feel safe. By going Terra Grass as well, I'm not scared of the Urshi Water, and I'm not scared of the Raging Bolt Thunder. The problem is the Raging Bolt is still underspeeding me in Trick Room, which is an issue. So I think somehow we were speed tying. But, I mean, with Amoongus and Ursaluna in the back, I feel great. Now, the purpose of the switch here was for this right here. I could kill the Urshifu off of the Raging Strike into my Rocky Helmet and save it. Last turn of Trick Room, my opponent has to protect Kali here. We put the Bolt to sleep. And we Moongeist Beam just in case they differ. I want to cover both of my options. Amoongus goes down. Oh no! He gets the Grenade boost. Now, even at -3 here, he had to forfeit. Raging Bolt was asleep. EQ kills everything. Like, we were good to go. Let's watch this Kali Ice one. And I'll show y'all the matchups, the spreads, and all that fun stuff at the end. And here we go. So, Trick Room v Trick Room. Now, his Trick Room team really only has 2 Trick Room options. The Kali Ice and the Amoongus. The rest of it's kind of middle tier, which is fine. Urshi Water. Follow me into a taunt, which that taunt was an issue, if I do say so. And I so needed that to kill, and it just didn't. Now, I went grass here to survive the Surging Strike so that I could get the kill. Among Us. Alright, so here Acrobatics takes out the Lunala, which was surprising. I mean, I always forget how much damage Roaring Moon can do, to be honest. Protect here so that I can go to sleep, or so I can get burned and not go to sleep. He Pollen Puffs, which was a great read on his part. So now I have to deal with this, but I think Rage Powder plus whatever I want to do is enough to kill Roaring Moon. He can't put me to sleep anymore, and we win. Like I'm telling you, this Lunala team just feels good. Now, I'll come down here and I'll show some of my losses. Let's look at this Kyogre loss real quick. And all these battles were between 13 and 1600 on the ladder, just going up and down. Because I played on 2 different accounts, going up and down between several teams. So what beat me here was the Kyogre Calm Minding, and I had no way to get rid of those stat changes, and I just didn't bring good enough options to deal with it. Like if I was to have my Among Us here, I could put it to sleep, that'd be better. Like in a best 2 out of 3 scenario, I feel like this would have been fine. But in the scenario that we were in here, like even if Ndidi had Taunt, we could have been fine. But once he got +3 Calm Minds, there was nothing I could do at all. He won this off of that alone. I was hoping he'd get greedy and go for another Calm Mind so I could switch into the Among Us, which he did. But now, because I waited a turn too late to do this, he can just protect the Kyogre to wait out the last turn of Trick Room, so the Spore is never going to hit him. Or Terra Grass, and now he just wins off a Water Spout. In hindsight, if I had facaded the Kyogre, there was a chance for me to do something there, but not anymore. He has this game locked up here. So this was a lot of user error on my part, but the one weakness of this team that I have here is the lack of, if your opponent sets up, there's not much I can do about it. Usage, I mean, you see my most common leads, right? It's Ndidi, Lunala, or Lunala, Among Us. It's just such a strong lead. Here's my move usage. I never, in the 10 games that I recorded on this account, used Urshifu, Rapid Strike, or Tornadus. But let me pull up the team build for you. So here's the Urshifu. It's a Protect Focus Sash set with Terra Stellar. It just completes the fake. As I count the Lunala as my fake grass type on this build, because I usually go Terra Grass with it, so I can't be Rage Powdered and I can't be Spored. But Meteor Beam, Moongeist Beam, and Expanding Force with Ndidi is just so good. And then if you can set up your end game to have Ursaluna, you usually win, because Ursaluna can 1v2 of most things if it's under Trick Room. And that one game that we played against Kyogre, if I had brought my own Tornadus to taunt, I could have done something. Like I said, I think that was more of user error than anything else. And if you notice the spread here, this is a very bulky Tornadus. I'm not trying to deal a bunch of damage. I'm not trying to outspeed things. I mean, we're trying to set up Trick Room 90% of the time. But the tailwind is there against other Trick Room teams if we're fighting each other about who wants to go win. And I find out that my mons are slower or faster. But yeah, that's about it. I learned that I really like Lunala as a Pokemon in this meta, and I'm gonna have to explore possibly using it in the future.
All right, so I hope you all enjoyed seeing a bit of the Power Herb set with the Meteor Beam in action. What I'm about to do is going to be looking at my favorite style of the Lunala, and that is going to be using the Calm Mind set. Calm Mind with the recovery, with the leftovers, that is where I find the most success. Because once again, back on my other channel, on my roulette series, I had to do a challenge when I had to run it with the Lunala as well as Meganium. And for all of you that know about Meganium is not really that great of a Pokemon, but we were able to even find a massive amount of success utilizing that Pokemon. So with having a Pokemon like that still able to help Lunala be even more successful, that already shows just with how successful Lunala can be, just additional support just helps it out even more. And my Lunala is going to be very similar to this exact same team as I did with the Meganium. However, without Meganium, I have a Rillaboom on my team. So Lunala itself is going to be, like I said, leftovers, Calm Mind, Protect. We got the Moongeist Beam with the Moonblast. So that's just basically going to be our bread and butter right there. We only did 108 investment in our special attack, and then we're going with the modest variant. So we just got a lot of bulk investment, HP, defense, also special defense. That's how it's all going to work. Also, in terms of the HP with the leftovers, which is going to be 1/16 of my maximum. So in each turn, I will get 14 health points back, and that will bring me up to 224. I just had an extra point, so I just went ahead and put it into the HP. That's why I'm at 225. Of course, we have our Ogerpon, which is going to partner very well with our Pelipper, which Pelipper also runs our Wide Guard. So Pelipper is going to be our Wide Guard user going against all those spread damage. So that's how I answer to the Calyrex Ice and Calyrex Shadow. Then we also have the Ogerpon that's going to be benefiting from that rain. Also, it has to follow me to just redirect attacks away from the Lunala. We also have Incineroar with that Intimidate to weaken some of those physical attackers. Then with the Will-O-Wisp further weaken those physical attackers as well. Then we also have our Grimmsnarl, which is going to put up the screens, also has massive speed control, and Pelipper with the Grimmsnarl both work together to doing the speed control. So we got the Thunder Wave here, we got the Tailwind here. And with the screens, it's going to allow Lunala to be more defensive, plus with a powerful Spirit Break, which will do good damage as well as dropping the special attack of our opponents. You can always change this out for Foul Play. Then that just depends on your opponents and how your team is fully structured. Spirit Break seems to work pretty well for this team at this moment in time. Then we also have our Rillaboom, which is going to give us more recovery with our Grassy Surge ability. We will have the Grassy Glide, Wood Hammer, U-Turn Fake Out, standard Rillaboom set, and also with that grassy terrain, not necessarily specifically for recovery, but also to change the terrain for the Miraidon opponents. So this is how the team is going to have this synergy to work together. And depending on how my opponents are trying to play, I can basically restructure how the team is going to be sent out and still make sure that Lunala is going to be the main focus to get all of the damage out. Challenges in itself is going to still be, even though I have it basically covered, is going to be for like Incineroars or those Chiyus for those spread damage moves if I don't already have the prepper lead off. So you got to catch that lead at the right moment, or you can in fact suffer for that. But of course, as in Pokemon, as a style of chess, your lead, sometimes matches are determined just by the lead in itself. If you're already on the back foot and you got to take extra hits, sometimes that's not going to be really that great. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop into a couple of best of 3 matches. Let's see how this team works. Okay, so now we're about to go up against a Wide Guard required team here. So this is going to be Lumberry Cali Ice, which is very interesting. I like it. I like the fact that it's Lumberry, so therefore it just says, hey, don't waste your time in terms of going for a burn. The fact that it is Terra Fairy means our Ogerpon is pretty much set. Now, which kind of Urshifu is this? Oh, this is Dark Urshifu. This is Dark Urshifu. So we do have to be very careful about that. Wait, was it Choice Scarf? No, it's just Black Glasses. Okay. Okay. We can work with all of this. We will need our Pelipper, and they don't need to go Trick Room, but we will have to watch out for Encore. Yes. So we will have to watch out for the Encore, which is fine. So we're going to go Grim along with our... Wait, are they Choice Band? They are Choice Band, but no Chen Pao. That's interesting. So we will go Lunala, then we will have our Ensign and our Pelipper. We're going to need the Pelipperf just because of the fact of how this Entei is going to try to be. Let's see. Their Moonglass, Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, and their choice specs. Oh my gosh. What in the world? Why are they doing so much? We're going to go Light Screen with a... Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go Light Screen, and I'm just going to go Moongeist. Well, they went D-Gleam. Okay. So they were focusing. So now that they're choice, and they got this special attack drop. So that's very unfortunate right off the bat here. Very unfortunate that they got that, right? But it's fine. Now that we also know that their Calyrex can now no longer go for a terrestrialization, we can safely swap out into Ensign. Okay, so we're going to lose our Grim. Yep. But now we have Fake Out support. Right? Now, is this thing Covert Cloak? Remind me. Okay, so it is Covert Cloak. We're not going to send out Pelipper because they're just going to summon the Sunlight. So, with this being shaded, what we're going to do is we're going to go Moongeist into the Whims. We're going to Fake Out into our Shifu. Yep. That was expected. They're getting so many of these special attack drops. Alright, so now we will go. I'm hoping that they don't necessarily go for the Terra there. I mean, not the Terra. What am I saying? The Encore. But they may go for the Encore and lock us into this, but we're going to find out. We're going to go for the Moonblast, and we're going to swap into Pelipper. Oh, they went for their Moonblast. Did they go close combat? Yes, they did. Okay, so we were able to capitalize on that. Finish off that. There we go. So all they have now is Fluttermane and their Cali. And with their Cali, I am free to go Wide Guard. Oh, they didn't even bring it. Oh, they didn't even bring it. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's very interesting. We're going to go Weather Ball. Oh, I hope they're not going for... Oh, we can't. We can't do that. Okay, we're going to have to swap. Yeah, we'll swap. And we'll go Weather Ball. I have to predict the Weather Ball for the Sunlight. Darn. Okay. So they did go for it. That's unfortunate. But okay. Now we will have to try to go for the taunt. Oh no, their choice. Their choice. So we don't even need to worry about that now, right? Don't even need to worry about that. So with this being said, we will knock off, actually. Try to drop their attack. And we're going to also go for a Moonblast into the Whims. Beautiful. Okay. That was cutting it a bit close. So all we have to do now is go for a Protect. We'll reactivate our Shadow Shield. Now we have 2 choiced Mons. We have 2 more turns of Rain. So, you know what? We're just going to go for it. We're going to go for it. So we're going to go Moongeist into the Entei. It more than likely would have been more beneficial to go for the Protect. Yeah, would have gone. That would have been more beneficial for us. I should have gone for the Protect. That's on me, because if I went for the Protect, I would have been at the top of my tier of my health. But now we go, because now we lost our light screen. So that's on us. This is on us. We're at 29%. We're going to try it. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, okay. I didn't think that was going to work, but we were going to have to try to go for the Calm Minds. So that's on us. But our plays were good. I was just shocked that they did not have the Calyrex Ice. So now that I'm seeing how they're playing, and they didn't even go for the Sunny Day or anything of the sort, sees how I just need to just restructure how I'm going to play this game. So how we're going to do this is we're going to go actually with the Rilla. Do I want to go Rilla? Yeah, we're going to go Rilla. Rilla Grim. Pelly. Lunala. Matter of fact, no. Yeah. And then on the next round, because I'm feeling as though we should still be able to pull the victory here. Next round, I want to try to go more so with the Ogerpon, if possible. It's difficult with the Dark Urshifu. Okay, so we made a good play here. This is the right play. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for the Thunder Wave, and then we will U-turn out. So we're going to U-turn into the Whims, and we're going to Thunder Wave into Entei. Excellent. Beautiful. So they were going for fire, so we go into Pelipper. And they were fully paralyzed anyway. So that works well for us. So now we will go Hurricane into the Whims, and we will also go for the Reflect. Since they're wanting to go for their physical attacks, we're going to start shutting things down. Oh, they went, oh, because now they haven't even used their typing yet. Now Whims is done. So now they're probably going for their Terra Normal, Extreme Speeds. But now we have our Reflect. And do we even need to go Tailwind? Should we even go Tailwind? You got the D-Gleam, Shadow Ball, Moonblast. I say we'll go for the Wide Guard, and we're going to T-Wave into the Flutter. Okay, taking some damage. I feel as though they went D-Gleam. Yep, okay. They went for the D-Gleam. This is excellent. Now they're paralyzed as well, so we are set for that. Now we're actually going to swap into Lunala, and we will go for a Light Screen. Now we're immune. So all they can do now is use their Extreme Speed onto the Grim. Right? We have our Grassy Terrain. We're free to Calm Mind. Basically it. So we'll go with the Spirit Break onto the Flutter Mane. Ooh, that would have been so perfect if I went for the Spirit Break into that Urshifu there. Darn. Darn, 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 da darn, da darn, darn, da da darn, da darn, 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 darn. That would have been fun. But now we got our Rillaboom. Got that Grassy Terrain right back. And we have Fake Out Pressure. We can go with a Calm Mind again. You know what? No, I won't even go Calm Mind. I'm going to go Moonblast. Not Moonblast. I'm going to go Moongeist. And I'm going to Fake Out. So we're going to basically force them to make a call. Do they stick with the Extreme Speed, or do they go elsewhere? All right, so we made the proper plays, right? We are at a +1. We don't need the +1. So that's my biggest key here. But what we'll do is we'll summon the rain. We'll run out Terrestrialization, Moonblast, Urshifu, bring forth Pelipper. Beautiful. So now that means only one move can do actual damage. That's the Extreme Speed. And the full para actually messes with me because I would have been able to lock them into either what would have been, since they weren't going first, they were either going Stomping Tantrum, Flare Blitz, or Sacred Fire. And I was basically capitalizing on that. But they forfeited, so now we are able to go to round 3. So, do we go with the Ogerpon here? Part of me really wants to do the Ogerpon, but Grim just basically, as we restructured the team, or restructured our style of play going against this opponent, we're able to say, hey, I want to face off against them by just shutting everything else down, and each time so far they have not brought their Callie. I think that they're going to bring Callie here soon. Callie actually does a great deal of damage to us. And okay, and this is Intimidate, matter of fact. So we won't go with this. We will stick with Grim. You are inner focus, right? Yeah, okay. We'll go Grim, Lunala, Pelly, Rilla. So this time we're actually leading off with the Lunala, and they went with the Flutter Me. So now we'll go Light Screen immediately, and we're going to go Moongeist into the Flutter. I should go after the Whimsicott, shouldn't I? I think we should do that. Let's do that. I'm gonna go Light Screen, Moongeist into the Whims. I prefer that, actually, instead. Excellent. Beautiful. And they're dropping special attack like it's nothing. Okay. Now, we will go Spirit Break. And do they have... Oh, they just have Dark and... That's all they got? Sucker Punch, Close Combat, Wicked Blow? So they literally can't hurt us. If I Terra Fairy, I know they're trying to pin me. I know that they're trying to pin me. And it's working. But, okay, we're going to Reflect. I'm a Terra. Moongeist into the Whims. Yeah, they went for the Encore. They finally went for the Encore, which is fine. So we got our Reflect up. So Urshifu is not going to be able to hurt either of my Mons. We are completely defended at this particular point. My Moongeist Beam is excellent here. Now we do have to watch out for this Flutter. So this is unfortunate because we may end up losing our I mean, we could swap here. We're gonna keep going. We'll keep going. Let's go into the Flutter. Paralyze it. Maybe we'll get a full para. Maybe. Bada bing. No. Ooh, we got the full para. We got the full para. Let's go. All right. Now, what we're gonna do is, since we are not too concerned with the weather at this particular point, we are going to do a little foddering. Just a little bit of foddering. So we're going to swap into the Rilla, and we'll send in Pelipper. And then when they decide to go... Yeah. Wait. Is this my... Well, this is my speed of 82 Grimmsnarl. I don't know. I thought it was my 90. No, it's 82. I think this is 82. Yeah, it's 82. Just a little tiny speed creep from min speed Ensign. Okay. Oh, they didn't actually take us down. Okay, finally, good. I wanted them to take out the Pelipper. That was the whole goal. Now, we go Lunala, we go Fake Out, and we go Calm Mind. So this is going to allow us to have excellent forms of recovery. And this is also going to place a lot of pressure onto their Urshifu. The question is, do they have the Calyrex this time? I wonder if this time if they actually brought Calyrex. Come on, my friend. Oh, it's just Entei. It's just the Entei. Perfect. So, all right, so it is the Entei. We got our Calm Mind. So that's perfect. Now, the bigger threat here is going to be... no, I'm not even too worried. I can now just go Moongeist into the Entei. They already used their Terrestrialization. I am shocked that they still did not go for the Calyrex. All they had to do is ensure that they took out my Pelipper, and then they will be free to go for the Glacial Lances. I'm not sure why they would not do that, but oof. Lots of damage. Oof. Oof. Okay. Beautiful play for my opponent. Okay. But we still got the Spirit Break to go. And we'll go Moongeist. Moongeist into the Entei. And we're at 99%. And now this Entei is required to stick with that Sacred Fire. The only thing I just don't want is for it to actually burn my Grimmsnarl. That's a lot of damage, actually. But Lunala is somehow faster than the Entei, which works perfectly for me. Massive damage. Lunala is also now back up to full health. So we reactivate our Shadow Shield ability. There is absolutely nothing my opponent can do at this particular point. Moongeist. They are at 1 health point, but we are able to outspeed because of that paralysis, and we take the KO. And that is the whole thing. So we lost the first round, just be how we were structuring it, and I was like, okay, no, I didn't even try to capitalize on my Shadow Shield ability, which may or may not even was gonna even matter at the very end. I can't remember if they were paralyzed or not. Actually, I can actually just go and check. First round, were they paralyzed? No, they were not paralyzed. I know it was like their Urshifu or something of the sort. So there was nothing that I was going to be able to do in that regard. But now, once I was able to do that, recapitalize, say, okay, we're going to boost. We are going to change the terrains and the weather. We are going to capitalize on that. And understanding how my opponent plays, utilizing that round as well, saying, hey, they are not going for sunny day. They're not trying to do certain specific things. They're going for their extreme speeds. All right, cool. And we're able to then use that to our advantage and choose at the very last second, because you don't want to always have to give up your Terra too quickly. That is a valuable resource, and it can make your opponents do like 50-50s. And if you use that resource, then you're like, okay, you catch it very early on, then you're like, all right, I can adjust. You give them too much time to adjust, and that's the problem. So you don't want to really use your terrestrializations too early. And that's that. Okay, let's look for another match. All right, so here we are going up against a Miraidon Ditto team. Of course, the Ditto is going to be a bit of a trouble. Now, is Ditto like required to always be a Terra normal? That's something that's throwing me off, because I don't think I've ever seen any Ditto that's not Terra normal. I don't know if that's a thing or not. Okay. But we can work with all of that. Can you terrestrialize Ditto? I've not actually used Ditto in this format at all. So even in this game, I mean, I have it, but I never actually used it. So I'm not sure how it fully works. But let's see how we want to do this here. So we're going to, is this Water Urshi? Where's Urshifu? Yeah, okay. So Water Urshifu, Surging Strikes, Close Combat, U-Turn. Okay, okay. So we can just do some pivoting is what we'll have to do. Yep. Oh, they do not have, that's good to see. They do not have the terrain coverage. So we'll go Lunala, Rilla, Ensign, Grim. Well, not I said terrain. I'm actually meant to say they do not have. Oh, but they got foul play. That foul play can hurt. The foul play can really, really hurt. But I'm going to. I feel still more inclined to just go with the Calm Mind. I'm not too concerned with what their Miraidon will do here. Now, if they go for the Terra Ghost, cool. That's cool for them. They did not. Excellent. Now, they were, in fact, going for the Prankster. So now we are getting extra recovery. We're going to go for another Calm Mind, and we're going to swap into the Ensign. If they go for the T-Wave, they did not go for T-Wave. They're going for foul play? They're going for foul play. Oh, boy. Ooh, that does a ton of damage. So that's good to know. I didn't know it does that. I didn't know. I did not know. So we're going to go Wood Hammer. And we're going to fake out the Grim. Oh, that's a beautiful play. That's a beautiful play. That's an absolute beautiful play. Okay. And, I mean, there's not going to be anything we're going to be able to do. I don't want to reveal my last mon. So we're going to go ahead and just take the L on that round. But seeing how their foul play and was able to take that to capitalize on that, that's beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. So that's good to know. We will do the same lead because that was my first time ever experiencing that. And we will do the same thing. Slightly. I mean, we didn't reveal the last mon. Instant Pelly. No. Ogre. No. I like Pelly. I like Pelly. Alright, so we're going to try this again. Oh, wow. Okay, so now we're going to Calm Mind. We're restructuring. Restructuring. Just slightly restructuring. Now, is this thing a Focus Sash? Okay, yeah, it is a Focus Sash. That's fine. Oh, they're going to catch us, aren't they? They're going to foul play and everything. I think they're going to foul play. We're just going to do this. We're going to Calm Mind, fake out, into the Grim. Okay, no, they didn't. I figured that that's what they would do. Well, they Volt switched. Okay. So let's see what this Ditto does. Okay, so we are Calm Minding. We're good to go on that. Excellent. So now what we'll do is oh, they're going to go for that. Got to go U-turn. Yeah. Protect and U-turn. It's going to be our key. Break their Shadow Shield ability that they obtained. Get the Ensign on board. Ensign goes for the fake out onto the Grimmsnarl because I figured that they were going for the Thunder Wave. Excellent. That's exactly what we needed. Ensign comes onto the field. We're at now 100%. But we're going to go Moonblast with a fake out into the Grim because I figured that they were going to go for the Protect. So now we Moonblast. Eliminate Grimmsnarl. Perfect. All right, so now we have Iron Hands on here. So this is what, Heavy Slam? Okay, so it's not Heavy Slam, but we're still going to protect, and we are going to go with Pelipper. Okay, perfect. Because I had a feeling this is what they were planning on doing. They went for the Drain Punch, excellent. And now we go back into the, we're gonna go Calm Mind actually, and we're gonna go into Rilla. Change up that terrain. They go for that Volt Switch, which is fine. And see, and once again, we are going to get more than what they get. Ooh, that's some good chunk of damage though. Good chunk, good chunk. But what we're gonna do is we're going to Moonblast into the Iron Hands, and we're going to U-turn. We're gonna U-turn again. Okay, this is fine. All right, now they just lost their Iron Hands. This is perfect. So we are capitalizing on how they are playing. So, I mean, that first round, we just was like bodied. We straight got bodied, right? But we were able to pull it back more effectively. So that's what we needed. I want to send in the Pelipper so Pelipper can go down. That is the goal. And then Rillaboom comes back in, and then we change the terrain back to something that we want, and we should be good to go. Beautiful. They went for the Electro Drift. Excellent. And now we have a free switch in. And we can Moongeist into the Ditto with a Fake Out into the Miraidon. You know, I didn't even realize that they were also already at their ahead of +1. I didn't even pay attention that they actually calm-minded. But with our priority of our Grassy Glide, we are now safe, and we can just go Moongeist into the Miraidon and continue with the Grassy Glide. Yep, okay, go for the Protect, that's totally fine. Your trap using Electro Drift. It's not doing much damage. We're gonna be doing a lot more damage to you. So this is perfect. All right, so now we go over to round 3. So the big question here is whether or not we go Fake Out or do we go Willow? Do we go Fake Out or do we go Willow? I mean, they run the risk of losing out of their Pokemon like immediately, right? I mean, if we just stick with the Terrestrialization, we should be fine. There really isn't anything that's like kind of holding us back at this point, so we should be good with this team. Which moveset is there? Urshifu. Yeah, this is Water Urshifu. Yeah, and having Rillaboom on lead, plus our Fake Out, the fact that they don't have any priority blockers with the Farigiraf, this allows us, this will allow us to basically capitalize against our opponent. Okay, let's see. So we go Lunala once again, Grimmsnarl again. Okay. Okay. So best thing I got is once again to go with the Fake Out, but this time I'm gonna go with the Fake Out, but I'm going to immediately go for a Moonblast into the Grim. Okay. Did they go foul play? No, they went light screen. Okay. Beautiful. So we dropped their special attack. And they went, what, Dazzling Gleam? Which did like nothing, right? So now we can protect. And we can go with a Wood Hammer into the Grim. Excellent. I felt as though they were going more so for the paralysis. Excellent. So now Grim is done. That was our biggest requirement there. Now, this can be a bit of a problem. Can be. But, so we're going to go with a... We're going to go... It does have there's advantages and disadvantages altogether, no matter what I do. We will have to go, honestly, we're going to have to go Calm Mind, right? And we're going to go back into the Incineroar, because I feel like they're going to swap out the Miraidon. Oh, this is excellent, though. Since the fact that they went for the Protect, we can capitalize on that by going for Fake Out. And this will allow us to have a better advantage right here. And we'll go with the fact that they're not doing much damage to us. We're going to straight up go for the Moonblast plus the Fake Out. All right, this is fine. Okay, we got the Fake Out. Beautiful. Moonblast. Excellent. With us being at the +1, it gives us a massive advantage here. All right, now the question is, let's protect. And we're gonna go with, yeah, we'll go into Rilla. We'll go into Rilla. Beautiful. They double focused. All right, now we are about to fully basically capitalize against our opponent. So they are now locked in to choice into the Electro Drift. Incineroar comes in, right? We have access for our Fake Out onto the Miraidon when we go Calm Mind. So let's Fake Out when we Calm Mind. They went for the Protect. Excellent. We Fake Out into the Miraidon. We get ourselves another boost. Now, next step, we double focus into their Ditto because they are in fact Focus Sashed. I don't really need to. I don't need to, but we will. We will. We're just gonna go this and the knockoff. Beautiful. They were able to survive, but they tried to get greedy and they went for the Calm Mind. Now they just lost their Ditto, and now they are forfeiting the match because they are going for they're only down to the Miraidon, and we still have 3 Pokemon in the back. So that is basically how you restructure it. As you can see, just like I even said, when you do a certain lead, that can cause or basically determine the end of the match right from the lead. So you're like, oh, they're going this style, and then you're just all messed up because you predicted something different, and your style was going to be just basically on the back foot. So let's see if your team can like kind of restructure, even using the same mons, but just re-pivoting on how you're playing and understanding, getting in the head of your opponent, then you're able to then capitalize on that and take the lead from there. Like even on this match here, my opponent always used, no, they didn't use the same Pokemon each time because they brought Urshifu, which was different than before. But once I was able to, they were playing a bit too safe once they went for that Protect. I was willing to take on some heavy Surging Strikes damage, and that was going to be like the kind of toss-up, but I was trying to preserve the Rillaboom. But the fact that they gave up their Urshifu by using that Protect, and then they were subject to the next Fake Out, we were good to go. But that is how the team works, and so I do hope you all have learned something in terms of utilizing the leftovers set as well as the media herb set. So if that is something that you did in fact enjoy, make sure you're leaving a like, share, and subscribing. and turning on those notifications so you'll be notified when these next videos are going live. Also, be sure, once again, that you are heading over to my page over at R.G.T over on YouTube, as well as on Twitch, where we are doing like live streams and we have separate videos over there as well. But that's where we're going to actually end it at this moment in time. Hope you did enjoy it. Once again, leave a comment below, and like see you all at the next one. But this is going to be R.G.T signing off. You all know what to do. You stay strong, and you power on. Let me catch y'all later.